friends, this is the Miss Volfie from our half-acre homestead. I'm canning tomatoes. A lot of our new YouTube family has never seen how I peel tomatoes, and since I got so many videos, it's sometimes hard to filter, so let me just give you a quick rerun. I put my tomatoes in the freezer until they're like this, and then I pour hot water, boiling water, right over them, and look. This water's really hot, so let them sit for a minute. But if I can get one, I'll show you. Look. The skins slip right off. And that great big bowl is going to the pigs. Now I know a lot of people will puree them with the skins on, but my tummy's touchy about skins. Like usually I'll peel grapes as I'm eating them. So this works well for me. If you want to puree them with the skins on, you don't even have to freeze them, just puree them and stew them. I'm a big believer in double boilers. This is one of my pressure canning pots with a rack in the bottom, and then just a stock pot full of tomatoes, and that will stew down without scorching the bottom, so you don't have to worry about it as much. Okay, so I'm going to update you from the last time I canned tomatoes. I used to, well, first and foremost, I like to put these trays for my dehydrator over top, a cloth, just to keep the flies out to the best of my ability. Same over here. And all I do is double boil them. Now last year and the year before, I used to take a measuring cup and push down and draw off all this water. Well, guess what? That water's got a lot of flavor. There's no real shortcuts to good canned tomatoes. So we're just going to let these cook down. And every once in a while, you keep an eye on your water. Every once in a while, I will just top the water up on my double boilers. That's 1/3 of the tomatoes in pots. It's going to take me a couple of days to get them all done. Okay, so here's my first bushel of tomatoes. I'm going to move one of these pots over to the stove and get bottling. So we'll be right back in a minute. Okay, so on the counter here, I have my jars fresh out of the dishwasher, my lids washed and rinsed and just sitting in hot tap water. And here we go. Now, one thing I want to tell you is, other than not draining off the water as these cook down, I also added a 1/4 cup of bottled lemon juice to each pot, as well as 2 tablespoons of pickling salt. That just saves me from having to put it in every single jar. But make sure it's cooked down to the consistency you want before you add the salt and the lemon juice. Just a minute, I'll have your coffee in a second, dear.
Oh, yeah.
We fill our jar to 1 inch from the top, about the bottom of the canning funnel. Always, always wipe your threads and your rim with a clean damp paper towel. Make sure you get any kind of food or anything off of there, so that your seal is not interfered with. Put your lid on, screw it down to fingertip tight. Now if you're putting whole tomatoes in here and then covering it with stewed, you would debubble, but this is liquid, so it doesn't need to be debubbled. And into the canner it goes. These are my pressure canners, but I use them for boiling bath canners too. It saves on extra equipment. I fill it up half full with water, put a rack in the bottom, and about a 1/4 cup of white vinegar to keep the jars from clouding. Okay, so this is the first pot, and you always want the water 1 inch to 2 inches above your jar lids. And we're going to process these. Once this comes to a boil, we're going to process this for 25 minutes. I have another pot to get into jars. This is why we always tell you to check your jars for nicks. Even the tiniest nick. Let's just see which one broke. Not that one. All right, I'm going to get these out and we'll figure out which one broke. Now, folks, this happens occasionally. You'll get a jar that has maybe a flaw in it, or it's getting old and it's been canned one too many times, and they will just break in the canner. Don't worry about it. Just always inspect your jars for nicks, even deep scratches can affect the integrity of the glass. So I have 11 quarts here, or 11 1-liter jars, minus the one that broke, so we do have 11. I'm estimating that I'm going to get about 36-40 quarts of tomatoes this year. Now, one of the things I forgot to mention is the reason I put lemon juice, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice in each stock pot when just before I'm ready to can it, is tomatoes today don't necessarily have the high acid content, especially the ones that are like yellow and pale in color. If you're canning those, folks, please add a little lemon juice just to make sure you have enough acidity so that it's safely boil bath can. All right, this is the Mrs. Volfie from our half-acre homestead saying I gotta go. I have a lot more tomatoes to can. Take care, God bless.